So you've heard about SEO, but what about GEO? GEO is generative engine optimization, and that's what we're talking about on this Monday Marketing Moment. GEO, or generative engine optimization, is a completely new way of redefining your content and looking at it to optimize for things like search. It optimizes for the context of AI driven search engines like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Google's at the top, their generative search that sometimes appears, Perplexity AI, all these tools that are now becoming mainstream for looking for and searching for content. Unlike traditional SEO, which focuses on ranking in the search engine, it's aiming to make content more accessible by generative AI. So, what does this mean? This means that you need to take a look at how you're structuring your content and how you're setting up your content so that you're providing answers to user queries. How it works is these generative engines are going out and interpreting the intent of someone's search. So let's say I put into my search best platform for AI content writer. Well, should we be using an AI content writer? Probably not. But I digress. Put in, best platform for AI content writer. These AI search engines are going to go out and they're going to say, here are 6 different companies that we've looked at and we've researched, and here's what we recommend. And how are they doing this? Well, they're interpreting my ask. They're taking all of the information that's out on the internet and looking at these large language models, applying that information. Then they're looking at my search history, they're looking at my internet activity and saying, what do we think that this specific user is going to want? Then they're providing an answer to this with that specific information tailored to their user. It's all very cool, but it also means that our game is changing as marketers. So the main difference here is we're going from emphasizing on creating content that ranks in SERP or ranks in the top pages of Google to delivering it for AI. We're also prioritizing content structure now, more and clarity, and making it easier for these AI engines to look for these snippets rather than relying on backlinking and keywords. We're still going to use some of those practices, but it's really important now that you have the right structure. Another difference here that we need to talk about is the output. And that's GEO is designed for AI engines to provide summaries. Well, SEO targets that traditional search where people are going to be reading full articles and looking at content and highlighting and skimming. So, what we need to do is we really need to focus on how we're laying out our content. We need to make sure we have clear statements that include the keyword. We need to make sure that the answer that's down in the body of the text has a quick summary of what you're going to be talking about. You need to be including things like FAQs. GEO is going to be a significant disruptor to SEO and really going to affect the way that top of funnel information is collected, searched, used. And one of the things that it's really going to do is while users are used to finding all their content in those SERP features, so those first couple of search results on Google, Bing, etc. Now the local SEO will remain typically the same. So we need to have our same SEO practices with links and keywords and making sure that we're building specific content for our audience. But we're also going to go and have to take some of these geo attributes and form them into our strategy. So, what are some of the things that you can do to do that? The first one is ensuring that there's clarity and readability. When you're creating content, make sure it has the right tone for your audience, make sure it has a purpose, make sure that there's a flow, because that's all things that are going to help that AI synthesize when using those large language models. The other thing is make sure that you're citing all your sources. Make sure that you're using credible sources and make sure that you're using quotes from expert authorities. What you want to do is you want to make sure that those citations are there because these engines really like to pull in citations. And so a practice that I've seen used recently is articles with the top 50 stats on a particular topic. And this helps those companies rank on these generative AI platforms. Another thing is the way that we structure content. You want to make sure that you have clear H1s, H2s, H3s inside of your content, and that you're summarizing content underneath of each of those headers. Why? Because that's what it's going to pull into those summaries, and it's going to use those H1s, H2s, H3s as its reference points to tell them, hey, this is what the broader topic is about, and answer those questions. Make sure you're including your keywords in those headers too. And then also you want to focus on intent and make sure that you use conversational language. This is the easiest way to help with that AI search, because a lot of the time it's going to look at the intent. We talked about this before. It's going to go, all right, what is that person trying to do? And it's going to interpret intent. So if you're writing to the intent of a user, let's say they're in the market to buy and you're writing to that intent, you're more likely to get picked up by one of these generative search engines. So what's the big takeaway here? Well, SEO hasn't changed, it's only evolving. We need to make sure that when we think about SEO and GEO, that we think about clear and concise structures, the intent, and we make sure that we're still working with those keywords, because those are just as important as they were before. People are still searching. We need to make sure that whenever we consider our SEO practices and our SEO content, we're continuing to watch these trends evolve and emerge and reacting to them. The other really important thing is just making sure that you're always writing content for your user, that you're focusing on creating quality content that answers their questions and provides the information that they need with intent and with a purpose and with a call to action. At the end of the day, search is still search. Humans are still humans. We're just getting a little bit better at answering their questions when it comes to AI. So, what tips do you have for GEO? If you have any, leave them in the comments below. Have you heard of GEO before? Let me know your thoughts. But with that, this is another Monday marketing moment. I hope you have a great week. And as always, a fabulous marketing Monday.